on a whole lot of his combos. However, Jackal was pretty good at getting out of a lot of those. Oh, okay. But anyways, going into our next set, we have Smash Bros versus Deltaforce. You know, as we were saying earlier, new guard and old guard. Deltaforce being number 15, I believe, on the New Jersey PR this quarter, with Link, and Smash Bros being on the New Jersey PR with Lucas.
Yeah, we actually he took a game off gagged. Scocked. Sorry, I said gagged. Pronounced like a true American. It should have gawked. And he was like, he even posted himself. He was like really happy about that. And you know, earlier he was fighting a Kazuya, and you know, Coney was like, oh my gosh, I've never like this character's good because he's so proficient in his his combo game. But he's one of the new guard players I have such a profound respect for in terms of their ability to extrapolate their ideas in this game. Like both these players being in the NJT scene, I'm very familiar and on very good terms with both these players. But I've always really appreciated, even before Smash Bros. Even got ranked, was that like you could always see the gears turning and where he was kind of heading. I could kind of almost see it like it was inevitability where he was, if he kept at that same trajectory I saw him at when I first met him, that he was going to finally get his licks in, get that ranked. Whereas Deltaforce has been the Link connoisseur since even Smash 4. This guy is, he is married to the Triforce. He is quite wise in his age.
For sure, both of these coming out pretty strong here. Deltaforce able to utilize some of these boomerangs as well as the bomb in order to sort of switch up Smash Bros. Momentum, going for the up air. However, Smash Bros. Opting to air dodge away from it. Smash Bros. Going to come in with the Zair here in the center of the stage, trying to sort of switch up Deltaforce's movements here. Coming in with the Nair, though, I think that in this matchup, Deltaforce doesn't have the same approaching tools that Smash Bros. Does, specifically with the Zair. He can utilize his boomerang and his arrows in order to sort of disrupt the trajectory of Smash Bros. Movement, but he doesn't have the same approaching option.
Yeah, that's a very good point you bring up. We saw with the up-angled boomerang, it's a lot more of that disruption tool. The biggest thing is that because Lucas is so floaty, if he ever gets caught in those scenarios, he can't really move out of the way with any sort of urgency outside of like an air dodge, which most of the time as Link, if you catch him air dodging through your boomerang, it's like, oh, I just get to grab anything. Like it's a catch-22.
Yeah, just as you were saying in that, he did actually get hit with just the upper part of the hero spin and lose his stock pretty quickly. As you can see here, Deltaforce trying to approach with Nair, as that really is one of his best approaching options in this matchup specifically. Going to go for the boomerang off stage, especially with the bomb placement at ledge. Going to send Smash Bros. Off stage yet again, as he's just sort of air dodging in to recover. Utilization of the Zair, but then the Nair coming out from Deltaforce yet again, as he's going to not take the stock just yet. However, that PK Fire not going to come out, and that bomb actually going to play a big part into this. The PK Thunder coming up, able to tech that, and then not getting the down air. Hero Spin coming back up, and actually that is going to be Smash Bros. Stock to take.
Yeah, both those scenarios were correct capitalizations on each other's weak points. So Link rising, like as he's rising, he's very weak because he can't just immediately, like he can maybe try to cheese out a Dare, but Dare's only like I'm going to try to mix you up with a landing tool. It's not really the best. He more so wants to be landing in the air. So we saw Smash Bros. Sneak in an up air, whereas additionally, Lucas is very floaty, so a lot of the times he'll get clipped by the boomerang and set up for a ledge scenario.
Yeah, you can see him, utilizing the PK Fire in order to float the bomb in order to disrupt Deltaforce's momentum. You can see him going for the Nair around the shield, actually going to continue to pile on some of this damage. The Nair at ledge with the bomb, proving to be a pretty formidable obstacle in blocking Smash Bros. From trying to regain the center of the stage, able to do so, and sending Deltaforce off stage, going to get hit with the PK Thunder, coming back, and that Hero Spin just going to get snuffed out. Still sent to the other side due to the way that he was able to recover though, but coming back to the center stage, shielding in place, and actually able to send Smash Bros. Off stage here. The Hero Spin grounded, able to do some damage, but not able to take the stock just yet.
Yeah, another thing that this last year, a huge improvement upon the Lucases is they're starting to use that up B as an edge guard tool, because they realize that even though it's not as free form as messes, you can still maneuver it to get to send at disgusting angles. And I've seen it like sure to kill it like 90 with just like one of the multi hits. So that becomes a big part of how Smash Bros. Can more safely play these offstage scenarios.
For sure, the PK Fire is really good. It's something that Smash Bros. Has been utilizing in order to try to explode the bombs while they're still in Deltaforce's hands. Going to be sent way off stage here by Smash Bros. As he's able to recover. But that big up tilt from Deltaforce going to take game number 1 pretty soundly against Smash Bros.
Yeah, like Deltaforce won that off of just a sheer comfortability of catching the 45s, but also playing around whenever Smash was more at like a 25-degree angle, or even like even sharper, like a 55, where he's like almost right above him, or like horizontal, where he'd catch him with the startup of up tilt or the middle hitbox. That was really difficult for Smash Bros. To deal with, as well as just even ground to ground, just using like arrow and bomb roll to kind of just, at worst case, just eat the PK fire for you, so you can continue trying to take space and burning frames on Smash Bros.'s actionability.
For sure. Coming into this game number 2, I really do think that there was a lot of good stuff that Smash Bros. Was able to do, like the PK Fire into the bombs, and then able to utilize the PK Thunder off stage in order to really disrupt Deltaforce's linear recovery. All good things that we've been seeing, but I do think that he needs to be working a lot more on his grounded combos if he really wants to make big damage here against Deltaforce, especially because he has a lot of the more flexible approaching options here.
Yeah, the kid from On It, trying to double dunk him, doesn't quite get it. The corner pokes, that's another thing that I do like seeing from Smash Bros. He's doing it in spots where Deltaforce is already committed to like a backdash, or he's stuck in shield. And since Nair actually is safe enough landing that you can avoid an up B, like a hero spin, for most of the time, as long as your Nair is like pretty unstable.
For sure. The PK Fire off stage, Deltaforce opting to air dodge away from it, but actually that Smash Bros. Able to catch that at the very end, and Deltaforce going to lose the stock for that punish. Smash Bros. Has a whole lot of damage that he is up, especially with an extra stock on the board for him. So Deltaforce just trying to continue to approach with the Nair and to stall out these different aerials like the Zair here from Smash Bros.
Yeah, Smash was also changing up his tempo. We're actually seeing him jump more kind of in line with Deltaforce, but outside of the immediate Nair threat. So at worst case, he gets a Nair trade like Nair for Fair, which is a very even percent trade, especially even if he's at higher percents, because Fair is so strong that he can actually still trade up with Nair when you get the sweet spot. It's only the sour spot it trades down in a percent deficit. So that's another, the biggest thing I've been seeing for Smash Bros. As well as he's more inclined to play grounded, as we're seeing currently, where it's like short hop Zair, short hop do nothing, short hop side.
Yeah, I really do think that this is an advantageous thing for him to as the floatier character. You can see here Deltaforce going for the hero spin, and Smash Bros. Able to time that out. Unfortunately, going to lose the stock to Deltaforce, but you could really see him working on his timings and able to get the Zair out of the hero spin.
Right. That double Nair, actually great awareness coming out from Deltaforce. And that's a big thing, is that Smash Bros. Keeps trying to play around these platforms, and Deltaforce is picking specific DIs to avoid the platform. And as a floaty, is once you commit to where you want to end up, that trajectory is, you're pretty much locked into it. Like, unless you're lucky and you play a floaty with like a good movement tool, like each float, where you can kind of vary up your trajectory. So just small things, even we're seeing on defense, to try to mitigate weaknesses.
Yeah, I really do love that tech chase there from Deltaforce, as he was able to follow up with the hero spin here, going way off stage in order to sort of pressure Smash Bros. Recovery. Coming back in with the F tilt, not able to get it due to Smash Bros. Sitting in shield, able to come back up and being sent off stage yet again. Recovering with the PK Thunder here, going to go for it twice, and then coming in with the Zair, sending Deltaforce off stage as he air dodges in. Maybe not the smartest thing to do, air dodging, and then able to come back with the hero spin off stage. But that big F smash from Smash Bros. Going to take a game for himself and forcing a game 3 now between these two.
And that's a huge Smash Bros. Classic. Like he's gotten a lot of people with that down tilt air dodge read in forward smash, but that's also an adaptation coverage. Is you even, as you're talking, that Deltaforce was starting to get antsy with the directional air dodges in. We're seeing the American air dodge and trying to recover. He made the recovery back, Yeah, right here. Yeah, he gets the anti-air dodge in, but he saved his double jump, so he was still able to get back. But that's a big thing is that Deltaforce kept expecting SmashBros to immediately try to cover off every hit, and that's where he ended up getting punished. Is that SmashBros actually had that moment of pause, waited that half step, and got the punish.
Absolutely, Deltaforce coming back in with a strong hero spin, going to get some quick damage here. The PK Fire and the Zair into the up air and the Nair coming out from SmashBros in order to sort of continue on with this damage, trying to get something going for himself. The F-tilt coming out strong from Deltaforce, as well as the bomb in order to sort of mess up SmashBros' recovery. Still able to come back in, however, now he is being forced to adapt now to Deltaforce's movement, coming out with the Nair and then able to continue that movement, taking a really quick stock there from SmashBros. Deltaforce is on a run here.
Yeah, the tempo adjustment, realizing that how SmashBros constantly wanted to jump with him, and he's pausing every two half steps, and then starting to do like short hop turns, to keep pace. We saw in that stock where he waited for SmashBros to jump at him, and then he started his off before trying to jump with SmashBros.
For sure, going to be sent off stage, coming back in, the hero spin being disrupted by the PK Thunder. These two are going to trade here. Coming back in with the bomb, though, very good utilization of the tools at his disposal. Sending SmashBros off stage with the Nair yet again, going to try to go for this up tilt into the Nair here, not getting either of those. SmashBros coming back in with the Zair to the center of the stage, not going to get the up air just yet, and then this trade coming out between these two. The PK Fire off stage, actually going to take that stock away from Deltaforce.
Yeah, he wanted to run with that bomb, but he didn't quite get it. We can see the frustration. He just knows that what was working that game too is really getting heavily punished. And when your layer 1 game 1 already gets destroyed, and then your layer 2 that worked is now getting adapted to, either not being able to mix back into what you're strong at, and your new scenario kind of leaves you in a situation where you're grasping at straws, trying to see is there anything left that can stick, especially in a more limited character like Lucas.
For sure. Lucas, or SmashBros rather, opting to air dodge in away from Deltaforce as he's able to send him off stage. The PK freeze not going to freeze him as Deltaforce is able to shield in place. Gonna get a pummel there, sending SmashBros off stage and going way off for the Nair. Coming in with the hero spin and then coming underneath of this upper platform here in the center of the stage. Going to be sending the boomerang off into the arrow. Not going to get hit with the PK Fire, but SmashBros just looking for a place to come in. Just going to stand here and Zair a bit as he's looking for something. The bomb not going to detonate just yet, but you can see Deltaforce just sort of jumping around trying to get a grab. Unfortunately going to air dodging in and away with the PK Fire, but that hero spin actually going to seal out a game number 3 here for Deltaforce. Going to take this set from SmashBros in a pretty convincing fashion in this battle of the old versus the new.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that Deltaforce is such a patient and waiting player that if you can't quite really break through that wall, there's no hope in kind of getting over it. Especially as a floaty jump, kind of such a floaty jump like Lucas, where he can't really get to the max of his jump height all that fast. So a lot of the times we'll see him get boomerang, trying to full hop over or something, or worst case get forward aired or either up bead or up aired. And that was what kind of sold the deal for SmashBros, is that he wasn't able to extenuate his leads long enough to the point where even if he did finally get caught jumping, it would be hard for Deltaforce to do anything with it.
For sure. As you can see here, SmashBros was able to punish that hero spin off stage. However, Deltaforce keeps going for the F-tilt in place, but you can see that he knows that it's not going to hit because he's opting to stall out these movements from SmashBros. SmashBros is going to take the stock there, but you could really see Deltaforce, especially in game number 3, adapting so well to SmashBros' momentum and then able to really change the pace of the game himself by being the more aggressive player and then opting to jump in rather than waiting for SmashBros, or letting SmashBros really get the space at the time to set up things such as the PK or such as like the PK Fire or PK Freeze or anything that could be used to stall out any of Deltaforce's moves.
Yeah, that was just the biggest thing. Is like we even saw that jump back with him into the boomerang fair. Is just like just scenarios like that are just so hard to counterplay as Smash Bros. And he really wanted that dash tech because like you want to try to catch. It's a great explosive option to catch these lower zoners on their backdash because they can't really get anywhere yet. But if they're ready and willing and they have a strong out of shield option, they'll just sit there and like, okay, maybe I get grabbed. I'm at 117, so I actually won't. I'm not scared of getting grabbed. Unlike most other characters where they're at 117, like, all right, I have to start worrying about up throw,